bouncer. It's alright. We got a 4B. That's what she was made for.
Alright, so we were in town at Rancho Cepeda. We just drove out on the coastline there, and now we're heading up to the mountains. Our friend Bia from Verde por Dentro was supposed to come up and meet us, but she ended up getting a bit busy. And we're gonna head up the mountain, potentially meet her up there in a couple of days or something like that. Maybe we'll see some snow. We don't know yet, but it's absolutely beautiful already out here. Look at that beautiful fluvial plain out there. Caballeros! Caballos! Not caballeros. That's men.
You are going on a run. Let's get scratching.
So we made it to El Coyote. It's this beautiful looking ranch in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of this mountain range. Decided to park up in a soccer field, and there's boulders in the background, and there's a Barbie. Not a bad spot. We still didn't have locks on the cupboard doors of the van, and so every time we drive off, all the shit goes everywhere, and sometimes even the water, but it kind of cleans our floors, so it may not be the worst thing in the world. But Joel's currently cleaning it. That bed was just covered in shit. Covered. But it's giving a thorough cleansing. And now look at the floors. They're all clean. Recently mopped. And got a sheep and a deer in a tiny little pen. It's quite random. So they got a nice boulder to look at. It's a nice boulder.
My name is Michael Diogo. I'm 75 years old, and I've been a solar electric power engineer for probably about 50 years. I won first place prize in high school for science fair projects. And I went to the state and won first place there in the field of physics and engineering. Out of that, I was given an all-expense paid trip from Florida to Bell Telephone Laboratories in New Jersey. Now, this is back in the 70s, where they had developed the very first solar cell. It was about that big,
Wow.
the size of a silver dollar. And I got to see it in the lab, and it was magic, right?
Yeah.
It's pure magic. So that set me off. And they were developing the solar cell as a power source to boost the telephone signal going down the lines.
Mm-hmm.
They would put them up on the poles.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first application and the beginning of this whole solar thing. So where we are now has been quite a journey. Well, anyway, for the last 40 years, I've designed and installed solar electric power systems in the U.S., mostly grid-tied, no batteries.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole different. The only thing they have in common are solar panels. So I moved to Baja 30 plus years ago and found a market.
Mm-hmm.
I found a viable place to live out of country and still make a living and help people emerge from candles and kerosene, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And doing that, the wealthy gringos that come down here caught wind of it. So pretty soon I had a pretty regular visitation to my front door wanting the technology.
Mm-hmm.
So I've installed systems all up and down the coast for people that have the money to do it right. They want to live like they do in San Diego and Los Angeles. So I said, well, it's going to cost you this. I said, great, here's the check, do it.
How big's your array here?
I installed their first solar here about 20 years ago. This place has no grid. We're 34 miles from the grid. So everything is on solar. We have 8 solar-powered water pumps, submersible pumps, about 22 independent little systems, varying from 1 battery to 24 batteries. The system works well on December 21, you're good to go. In most systems, you would take 2 6-volt batteries, put them in series, and make a 12-volter, right? The idea is that you would take 2 and put positive to negative and have a 12-volt battery. Well, these are all in parallel. This is 1 6-volt battery. Here's another one. Here's the jumper.
Okay, so the L16s are 6 volts.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. But it's got a huge amp hour capacity.
Yeah, they're 430 amp hours.
Each at 6 volts.
Correct.
Sure. Okay, that makes sense.
So this is a 12-volt system. And it works just great.
Uh-huh.
You know, 24 volts or higher voltage is required when you're trying to push a lot of power. It travels more efficient. You use smaller gauge wires. Okay, in here is an Outback. It's a 60 amp controller.
Okay, it's an FM60,
Yeah.
whereas we have the FM80s. This is 12, okay, and it's all connected to the battery pack outside as well.
Correct.
Okay, having them in here would keep them cool, so they're more efficient as well.
Yeah.
That's great. We need to cool ours at some point in time. This is the most we've ever pulled in, ever. It's because we're up high on a mountain, and the atmosphere is thin, and it's dry and cool air on our panels right now. 6,800 watts consistently right there, right now. That is crazy. What's it saying?
This is reading watts per meter square.
Watts per meter square.
There's 7 See, if I move it even slightly, it changes.
Oh, there you go.
That's how important the angle is.
Angle's so important, isn't it?
Really makes a
Yeah,
difference. So what do we got? 8 something there?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. So, man,
what's
that's
that?
as good as it gets.
800 watts per square meter.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
okay.
available, what we're getting out of the air.
Okay.
Well, you have a capacity of 7920
Mm-hmm.
in outer space.
Yeah.
So if you're getting, what did you say, 7,000?
8, yeah.
8?
6,800. We're losing, what, 10% or something like that?
Doesn't matter how good the atmosphere is, you never get full rating.
Full, no, yeah.
You know, you can't do it.
Yeah, because it's still got to come through some air and
It's just
some sort of
atmosphere.
particle. Yeah.
But also the panels are filthy right now.
Studies have been done, and soiling is amazing of how soiled they can get and still keep pumping
produce.
out.
Yeah.
That's what we've noticed too.
Yeah.
They're a pain in the ass to clean. Right?
Yeah. We clean them, we get an extra 200 watts, and we're like, that wasn't worth 200 watts
Yeah,
of my
weird.
energy. Yeah. So Michael's given us this EMF reader to see how much EMF, electromagnetic radiation, we are being exposed to while charging our van. And we assume it's going to be a lot more than what the average person would be because we're sleeping with our heads on top of a off-grid electrical system, a high-powered off-grid electrical systems. But let's find out exactly how much radiation is going through our brains.
Our brains.
Oh,
Whoa.
on the outside of the electric cabinet, it's already right up 2 bars from the top. So that's pretty.
Just come on through, yeah.
It's pretty intense. Yeah. The inverter is doing. Oh, so is the charge controllers. So charge controllers are absolutely zinging with EMF. The inverter's zinging with EMF. What about the juice box? It's zinging with EMF. What else?
Fridge.
The fridge. Let's see what the fridge is doing to us. Nah, the fridge is super low. That's 24 volts
Put it near your head.
at like 2 amps.
That's like near your head if you're sleeping.
Oh, up here? Nothing.
So I was explaining that it's an exponential decline. If you move a foot away, it drops by 100%. You move another foot, it drops another 100%, 100%.
So while we're cooking, we're being exposed to not much, but if we stand by the cabinet for too long, it starts getting up there.
Just our groins.
Just our groins. Yeah, look at that.
But what about your head here, if you're sleeping on this side of it?
Nothing.
Sweet as. It looks like you're looking into your soul.
And I have Doña Getita.
Joel had a bit of a mishap with the devil.